All right, so I want to go through this, and I don't know if it's a gal or gentleman's question. I think it's a gal, but I'd like to go through this real quick, and let's talk on this whole thing, because obviously, there's 3 thumbs down on the pork eaters are an abomination to God. This is a very touchy subject for everybody, because pork is one of those things that everybody loves, and not a single person is willing to get rid of it. So here's the question right here. I'm confused here. I don't eat pork anyways because it doesn't taste good to me. But Acts 10, 19 through 16 clearly states not to call anything that God has created unclean. If the Bible is wrong about that, then what else is wrong in the Bible? I thought the birth and death of Jesus, Yahweh, Yahushua, to bring a new chapter to the believers and fundamentally change the way people sought the Lord for forgiveness. Every person born, let's stop right here. So the very first thing I want to touch, let's go back to the Acts 10, 19 through 16. When you talk about this, you're talking about, and in fact, hold on, let's go look at it. Okay, so this is Acts 10, and this is the thing. My boys have gone over this a couple different times. We've gone over it. This is Peter. Peter's sitting here, and Peter is having a dream. Peter had a dream, and before this, there was a centurion. There was a guy who was part of, he was not part of the Judaism team. He was a Gentile. He was outside of the entire thing. And Peter was having a dream, right? He has a dream 3 different times, and the dream is that these animals come down upon a sheet, and there's pigs or swine. There's all sorts of unclean animals. And the dream is don't say that things are not clean, that are clean, or vice versa. Or there's a thing that people. This is the constant Christian go-to for don't judge my food. So here it is. Let's just go through it. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian Band, a devout man and one that feared Elohim, with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to Elohim always. So this is a Gentile who is seeking Yahuwah. And so he saw in a vision, evidently about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of Elohim coming to him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is this, Adonai? And he said unto him, Your prayers and your alms come up for memorial before Elohim. And now send men to Yafo and call for Shimeon, whose surname is Kepha. Peter. This is Peter, right? There's no P's, there's no J's, there's no any of this stuff. These are they're close to the real names. He lodges with the one Shimeon, a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell you what you ought to do. And when the angel which spoke to Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants, a devout soldier of them, that waited on him continually. And when he had declared, that's Aleph Tah, all these things unto them, he sent them to Yafo. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh into the city, Kepha went up on his housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry, and would have eaten. But while they were made ready, he fell into a trance. And he saw Aleph Tah, which is basically the beginning and the end, heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners and let down to earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Kepha, kill and eat. But Kepha said, Not so, Adonai, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spoke unto him again the 2nd time, What Elohim has cleansed, that call not common. This was done thrice, 3 times, guys, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now, while Kepha doubted in himself, he doubted this. This is what this vision which he had seen should mean. Behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made an inquiry for Shimeon's house and stood before the gate. So as he's having these weird dreams, these weird things, and guys, prior to this, Jews and Gentiles don't mix. If you're a Jew, you don't hang out with the Gentiles. Gentiles don't believe like you. They're not circumcised. They don't have the same laws. They don't keep the same stuff. They're different, right? They're completely different. So prior to this, most people thought that there was no hope for the Gentiles. However, this right here, let's see, before the gate, stood before the gate, 18, and called and asked whether Shimeon, which was surnamed Kepha, was lodged there. While Kepha thought on the vision, the Ruach said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek you. Arise therefore and get you down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Then Kepha went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, Behold, I am he who you seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius, the centurion, a just man and one that fears Elohim, and of good report among all the nations of the Yehudim, was warned from Elohim by holy angels to send for you into his house and to hear words for you. Then called he them in and lodged them, and on the morrow next day, Kepha went away with them, and certain brethren from Yahweh accompanied him. Now, guys, let's quickly go back to the other set. So the question is, inside of Acts, it clearly states not to call anything that God has created unclean. Now, this was talking about people. This was not talking about a new rule or a new law that all creatures are made clean. And let me prove this point simply by saying, if all creatures are made clean, imagine that everybody in a car wreck, say 17 years old, and they died in a car wreck. That's good meat to eat. We should go to that car, grab those people out, harvest that meat, and do it, because it doesn't matter. God created it, so it's made clean. If your child dies or your baby dies, that's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. Horrible. But by this same thinking, our kids would be made clean, because if that everything that God created is made clean. What about feces? Can we eat crap? We can. It's actually not. I wouldn't do it, but it does. There's no law against it. But you can't say that everything was made clean. This was not what our Messiah did. In Matthew 7, let's run to Matthew 7 real quick. All right, so here is Matthew 7. And before I go into Matthew 7, it is super, super good that you have a quorum of people that understand the Torah around you, because as I put that on pause, both of my family members said, yes, there is a law about feces. You're supposed to take it outside the gates and bury it. I forgot that. So yes, we're not supposed to eat feces either. But let's look at Matthew 7 here. Let's look at right here. This is a modern day Christian, and these are modern day. This is what we're looking at right here. Modern day Christianity. And listen to this right here. Not everyone that says unto me, Adonai, Adonai. Now these are Christian people. These are people that are dead, right? They've been gone. They're up to judgment, and they're going unto our Messiah, and our Messiah Yahushua HaMashiach is right there, and we're going, Adonai, Adonai. And not everyone who says to me, Adonai, Adonai, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that does the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Adonai, Adonai, have we not prophesied in your name? And in your name have cast out devils, and in your name done many wonderful works? I will profess to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. Now, guys, iniquity is sin. We are not supposed to have anything to do with sin. So there is no changing of this whatsoever. Now, and these are people who truly thought the laws of God were good. Basically, we're dead, right? They've gone to the king, our Messiah, and they were working. They were not in the will of our Father. If you're eating swine or unclean foods, you are not in the will of our Father. Let's flip back. So let's address this next point. I thought that the birth and death of Jesus, it's not, and see, here's the thing again. Jesus is not Yahweh. Jesus, Yahushua, is the Son of God. Yahuwah. So when they were asking this question, I thought the birth and death of Jesus, it's not, that's a kind of a trick question, because it's our God never died. Our Creator. Can you imagine if they put our Creator on the cross and they killed him? Where did he go for 3 days? Who was in charge for 3 days while they killed God? See, none of that makes any sense. But when God says, I am sending the Son of God, my only begotten Son, and it is through his name that you can be saved, right? It wouldn't make any sense if you killed God. If the same thing where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, where Abraham was supposed to kill Isaac, right? That is what our Messiah, that is what our Creator did to his son. He did the exact same thing that he asked of Abraham, and his son died for the sake of this world. So this is where the confusion sets in. There is no change from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. The Christian religion itself will make this change. That is who made this change. They went from worshiping on Sabbath to Sunday. They've changed everything around. So here's the question. I thought that the birth and death of Yahushua to bring a new chapter to the believers and fundamentally change the way people sought the Lord for forgiveness. None of that is true. None of that is true. Our Messiah even says there's not one jot or one tittle or one iota of the Torah that will ever be changed until heaven and earth pass away, right? Heaven and earth have not passed away. Nothing has changed since the beginning of the book. The beginning of the book says if you want to be a child of God, you should obey the laws, statutes, and commands of him, which include this pork. If you are not keeping yourself in covenant with God and you're sitting there eating pork, it's still an abomination to our Creator. So every person born before Jesus, Yahweh, see, that's not correct. Every person born before Yahushua are going to hell unless they were taken away by God or are extremely pure in God's eyes for any reason. And that is not true. That is not true at all. In fact, Abraham was saved by his faith. Everybody prior to the Messiah was the only way they could have been saved was by their faith. There was no other way, right? They can atone for their sins and they can do that. But you're either with Yah or you're not with him. But there has been zero change from the book of Genesis to the book of Revelation. It's all the same. So that is not true. Yahushua went to hell after crucifixion, and that's not true. Actually, that is true. So, but when we put Yahweh in, like I can't even zoom in on this thing right here, but it's where it says Yahushua went to hell after crucifixion to preach to the damned so they might be saved. I don't know if that was, I don't think that was actually true. That never said that. He was in a dark place, but I don't believe he was there preaching to people. We have one shot at this. We don't have multiple shots. You don't die and you don't have a shot afterwards. It is by your faith or by the blood of the Messiah that you are saved. There's no other way. And, prior to our Messiah, it was, you don't have a guarantee. That is what our Messiah did, is that actually gave us a guarantee if we are walking in the law, statutes, and commands. But if we think that we know our Messiah and we're ready to go, hey, Messiah, 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 he's going to tell us possibly, if we're not keeping the law, statutes, and commands, that we need to depart from him. And that means you're going to hell. That means when he says depart from me, that means you're heading to Sheol and you're heading into hell. So let's finish this up. Let's see. There was no way into heaven and pork was forbidden, but the New Testament opened up the world so that God created nothing unclean from all the four corners of the earth. The Old Testament says we should stone people to death as well, but the New Testament changed a lot of things, but a lot of things didn't change as well. So I'm still confused. Okay, still confused. Thank you so much for writing in on this thing. Listen, we should still be stoning people today. Like if you were in a holy land and you were under covenant with our Father and everybody kept the Torah, if you had a guy that was a drunkard, a drunkard isn't some guy that drinks wine and passes out one time. It's a guy that lives by the bottle. He gets up, he hits the bottle. At night he hits the bottle. He probably beats his family along the way. I mean, it's just a drunkard is a dude who lives by the bottle, right? This is a person who is unfixable by most means. And they would take him outside the city gates and kill him because they did not want evil to run across basically the promised land. So if those are still the rules today. Those are still the rules. There's a rule of thou shalt not kill, but there's also a rule of thou shalt kill by God's own rules. And nothing has changed. Like again, what was dirty is still dirty. You can't go eat a human corpse. It's not good. It doesn't taste good. I mean, it might taste good, but I mean, it's not what you should be doing. It's unclean to us. And so that hasn't been made clean. Guys, the laws of God are good yesterday, today, and tomorrow. They will be good for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. They will never change, right? And this is why I keep saying, choose this day who you will serve. If you guys are unable to put down the bacon, or if you guys are unable to come to covenant with our Father, that's on you. That's on us, right? This is why that our Father is giving people like myself. And for the very few people that listen to these things, this is a note for you guys. This is a love message from our Father, our Creator, with the way the Bible is. And the simple way to prove what I am saying, if it is true or not, is to read your Bible. Start in Genesis, go Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Run through the Bible. Guys, it doesn't take that long to read through the Bible. It doesn't take that long to read through the Torah. It does not take that long to read through the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You can do it in the weekends. You can do it on the day. I mean, I would say grab a chapter or two a day and read it. Once you guys fall in love with the book and the Torah, which I have, I've fallen completely in love with the Torah, and there's nothing that I would ever go against the Torah. The Torah is good. I don't have anything that I can complain about in the Torah because it's not too hard to bear. And it comes with blessings. Nobody wants to give up their shrimp. Nobody wants to give up their pork. No one wants to do that. But they don't understand that their lives would be 150,000 times better. Like they are under. You guys are under a curse because you will not give up your pork. And that's what it says. If you're not under covenant with our Father, he is going to curse you or he's going to bless you. So anyway, I hope this clears this up. And to the ksbrugh, I hope this helps. Let me know if that doesn't. It's our Messiah, Yahushua, is not a brand new religion. It has nothing. It's not different at all. It is the same thing. Our Messiah kept the Sabbath. He kept the holy days. He kept everything. And he tells us, if you love me, keep my commandments. And the Christians have a tough time with this because in the Christian's mind, there's only two commandments. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. If you're deceiving yourself and thinking that eating pork means you're loving God with all your heart, mind, and soul, you're a liar. You're lying to yourself, and you will not inherit the kingdom. The kingdom is not for people that are knowingly, willingly breaking the laws of God. That is what Satan did. He's a rebel, right? If that's what you want to do, you're a rebel. And if that's what you want to be, then so be it. All I can do is give you the truth of the Bible and tell you much love. I'm out.